staff, management, and advertisers.
Liberalism is back in style. Welcome to the evolution.
What if you knew Fox News was just lying to you? How could you watch when you know?
He was voted Variety Entertainer of the Year in the Excellence in the Arts Award. And is one of the highest Arbitron, now Nielsen-rated talk radio hosts in Las Vegas. He is also a refreshing voice of logic and reason. Live from the entertainment capital of the world, Doug Basham.
And good morning, my fellow wokes and Republican jokes. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Doug Basham, and welcome to the Doug Basham Show right here on KSHP in Las Vegas and on social media, and to a genuine demonstration of excellence in broadcasting. Hey everybody, great to see you all again. I am Doug Basham, card-carrying member in good standing of the Enemy Within Brigade, also known as one sick, radical leftist lunatic who needs to be handled by the American military. Who knew? My website is DougBasham.com, last name spelled B as in Bob, A-S-H-A-M as in Mary. DougBasham.com, my email, Doug@DougBasham.com. That said, I extend a hearty welcome to those of you listening on KSHP, AM 1400 and 107.1 FM on your radio dial here in Las Vegas. We are also broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and of course, Twitter/X, now owned and operated by the biggest and most childish troll in Twitter/X's history. Now, if you go to my website, again, DougBasham.com, you will discover it's all of one page. At the top, you'll find the show's logo. Underneath, 10 links, most to my social media sites, also one to contact me via email. The two links I would like to call your attention to the most are, 1, my YouTube page, and 2, my TikTok page. On my YouTube page, I would respectfully ask you hit the subscribe button. On TikTok, please hit the red follow button. Now, if you would like to watch the show live and not just listen to it, reason being when I play clips, I don't play audio clips, I play video clips. From my website, you can go to either my YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter/X pages, whereupon you can indeed watch the show live. And if I violate YouTube policies, which has almost become a daily or 2 days event now, and they put up a big black soundless screen that says the stream has been suspended for policy violation, just go back to my website, then to my Facebook or Twitter/X page. And by the way, another reason to watch this show live, it will remove any doubt whatsoever why so many people have said over the years that this is a face for television. 221-7283 is our caller number here at the station, folks. If you would like to talk on the radio somewhere in our second half hour together, that's 702-221-SAVE, as in Save Our Democracy, which is our ultimate and only goal in each and every show we do. And as the estimable Joy Behar said recently on The View,
I mean, he's cost a lot. I think we should lock him up now.
Well,
just 7 days to go, folks. 1 week. 1 week today is Election Day. So, how are you feeling? Confident? optimistic, pessimistic, nervous, frightened, hopeful? I think former Obama speechwriter and advisor Tommy Vietor mirrored my feelings exactly.
Unbelievably anxious, barely sleeping, just a mess generally. How about you?
Well, that's not lifting me up. Okay, I'm a combo of all the feelings.
Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
No, this is me in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell. How did I get into this nutshell?
For the past couple of weeks, I have opened each show with two questions. One, how in the fresh hell is this election close, or is it? And the first part of that question is rhetorical because I know the answer. And two, if Trump loses next week, will Trumpism die? Today I have what I think you will find is a much more provocative and challenging question. And with that said, let's get to our breaking news for the day. And further to my first question as to how this election can be close, none other than Michelle Obama asked that same exact question on the campaign trail for the Harris-Walz ticket. And I gotta say, anytime you hear Michelle Obama speak, you are left with only one intellectually honest response, and that is, damn, she's good.
I got to ask myself, well, why on earth is this race even close? I lay awake at night wondering what in the world is going on. And it's clear to me that the question isn't whether Kamala is ready for this moment, because by every measure, she has demonstrated that she's ready. The real question is, as a country, are we ready for this moment?
And former Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill asked what I thought was just a great question.
And I got to say, I don't know how this happened in America, but how did the number one and number two, and I'm not saying which is which, best speakers in America, how did they end up married to each other? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Her speech, if you haven't watched it and you're feeling down and anxious and you want to get motivated, go online and watch her speech. It was masterful. And I'll tell you, I voted today. I've got my sticker on. We have an issue on the ballot about women's freedom because in our state, you can't, there's no exceptions. And, it's conception from the moment of conception, it's a person and so forth. And we have it on the ballot. And voting today, I had several young ladies walk up to me and who recognized who I was. And they said, we got it, we've got it, we've got it. And they were so excited and so motivated to be there to vote on that issue. And she's right. Your vote is a secret. Now, I will say this. If you're married to somebody who's voting for Trump, and if you can't talk to them firmly and quietly, then vote secretly. But if you can, try to get them to watch part of Michelle Obama's speech. Or if they won't, then you tell them what she said. If you love me, understand a freedom has been taken away from me that risks women's health. Why would you ever want to be for anyone who made that happen in America? I think it's very powerful.
No poop, Sherlock. And Claire McCaskill is right. What are the odds the two best speakers in America would be married to each other? And I still say Michelle's speech was the most effective and compelling one at the DNC. She was and is, in a word, electric, which is standard for her. It's a gift and one every patriotic American should be thankful she has. And I have more clips from Michelle Obama if time permits, and in every single one of them, she is just wonderful. She speaks with confidence and grace, and she knows exactly how to drive her points home with authority, but coupled with genuine care and concern. Again, a rare gift. In other campaign news, Kamala Harris is delivering a final stretch closing argument today, exactly 1 week from Election Day. Oh, by the way, today is also the unfortunate day Steve Bannon is released from prison. But Harris has made the strategic and, I think, brilliant decision to deliver that speech at the Ellipse, the exact same location where Trump instigated the violent and vicious attack on our Capitol, wherein he attempted to interfere in our foundational transfer of power and tried to steal an election he lost. He sought to literally erase the votes of 81 million Americans and essentially end the American experiment in democracy. So again, I think that's a brilliant decision by the Harris-Walz campaign. And now, if you will permit me to do so, I'd like to repeat my opening remarks from yesterday, which have become my closing argument for this presidential campaign. Because frankly, I'm kind of proud of them. I put some serious, diligent thought into them. And to be honest, I didn't come up with anything last night that either improved upon them or were better than them. I tried, but in the end I said, nope, this is my closing argument. And I began with the results of a new ABC Ipsos poll that found that 49% of Americans believe Donald Trump is a fascist. The bad news, 8% of those who think he's a fascist support him anyway. I then said, and I'll say again, do you hear that sound way off in the distance? Kind of a windy, wailing sound, as if it were voices crying out from the past? Sounds an awful lot to me like those voices are coming from 1930s Germany. And in this election, you are not just voters. You are skilled surgeons. You are oncologists. And you have a chance to expunge the cancer that has been eating this country alive from the inside out for the past 9 years. And after 9 years of needing therapy, you now have a chance to be chemotherapy. If you are a patriot who loves this country, you know what you need to do. You know what your country commands of you. You know what your democracy demands of you. And it's not a matter of politics, policies, or loyalty to your party. It's a matter of loyalty to your country. And as such, you simply cannot put Donald Trump back in the White House. This election has nothing to do with partisanship. It's a matter of survival. It's a matter of patriotism. Patriotism to what this country can remain and not to what it could become. As JFK once so historically asked, ask what you can do for your country. And that's much easier now than back then, because today you already know the answer. As one meme I saw over the weekend said, let the world know you're in a committed relationship. Vote. Next Tuesday is our ultimate test as a freedom and democracy-loving people. And as is always the case with tests, we will either pass or we will fail. And the consequences, if we fail, will be much worse than summer school. As I said, I have a new question and theory for you today, which I think you will find provocative, controversial, and maybe even upsetting. What it is designed to do, however, is to make you think and to question. And my new question emanates from something I heard MSNBC's Chris Hayes say back almost a couple months ago. I recorded it and I've been saving it along with my initial reaction to it, curious to know if anyone else would dare go there. To date, not one single solitary person I've heard has gone there. I will go there. First, let's listen to what Chris said that led to my question.
7 weeks to go. We're in the stretch run of this campaign. Everyone's obsessing over swing state polling on their phones and various outlets' odds for who will win. And the reason for that obsession? with the just 7 or 8 states, the new poll in Arizona, is, of course, that we don't elect our presidents by a popular vote in this country. We have a, frankly, undemocratic system, the Electoral College. It's the reality of how American elections for president have worked for more than 230 years. And our citizens and our parties and our candidates, everyone who's operating covering the election, works within these constraints. That's how it works. That's one of the sort of ground truths of this election. The other ground truth that defines this election and the campaign right now is that one of the two candidates has shown us and told us he will not commit to a peaceful transfer of power. Harris-Walz's campaign is, I think it's fair to say, running uphill, in other words. The thing is, the only option for Kamala Harris and Democrats and the pro-democracy coalition, Popular Front, the only thing they can do is to organize and mobilize and persuade voters, use democratic means to save democracy. And if they win, they can and should strongly defend that victory in court. And if they lose, which is a real possibility, they then must peacefully transfer power. That's the way it works. Those are the only options on the table.
Okay, and here's my question. Why? Why is the only option on the table for Joe Biden to peacefully transfer power? Why is it always up to us liberal Democrats to follow the rules, to respect the Constitution, especially when our opponent has said our Constitution should be terminated? And as further shown, he has less than zero regard for rules, including the rule of law. But if Kamala Harris were to lose a week from today, the only option will be for Joe Biden to what? Follow the rules, abide by the Constitution, and turn the United States government over to someone who says he wants to terminate the Constitution? Tell me in what world that makes sense. And don't get me wrong, I am not in any way, shape, or form calling for another attack on our Capitol. That would take precious time away from our stereotypical liberal tree hugging. But here's what I am calling for. Earlier this year, back in July, when the Supreme Court issued their presidential immunity ruling, it didn't just apply to Donald Trump. It applied to Joe Biden as well. And how many times has Biden taken advantage of his newly granted immunity since July? I've been watching closely, and I haven't seen even a hint or a sniff of one such instance or example. He didn't order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate his opponent, which was actually one of the questions Trump's legal team was asked, and they did not respond by saying, "Oh, come on, that's ridiculous." Quite the opposite. Joe Biden has done squat with his newfound presidential immunity. So, further to my question, if Trump were to win, wouldn't that be a good time to exercise your presidential immunity, Joe? Consider, are you really going to turn the country over to a 34-count convicted felon? To an adjudicated rapist? Someone who's been charged under the RICO mob boss law? You gonna turn the country over to someone who's been charged with conspiracy to defraud the United States by trying to steal an election he lost and erase the will and votes of 81 million people in the process? Someone who incited a vicious, unpatriotic attack on our Capitol and then did nothing while it was taking place? And said his vice president deserved to be hanged? You're going to turn the country over to someone who's been charged with espionage, someone who stole sensitive nuclear documents and then waved them around in front of someone he knew did not have the proper clearance to see them. And God only knows who he sold them to and for what in return. And someone who ignored a legal subpoena for over a year in the process and tried to destroy evidence of his treasonous criminality? You're going to obey the Constitution and turn the country over to someone who said our Constitution should be terminated. To a guy who calls those of us on the left the enemy within, who should be handled by the American military. And that includes you, Joe. You're at the top of the list. Someone who calls the free press the enemy of the American people. He just did it again a couple times over the weekend in 2 separate locations. He did it again yesterday. Someone who, when we were short on COVID tests, sent them to one of our avowed enemies in Russia who wants nothing more than to see American democracy fail. That is who you're going to turn the country over to? You're really going to follow the Constitution for a guy you know wants to terminate it? Again, I ask, on what planet does that make any sense? In my humble opinion, here's what I have concluded Joe should say if Trump were to be declared the winner. Joe could say, and by the way, in a primetime address from the Oval Office, quote, "My fellow Americans, my fellow patriotic Constitution-loving Americans, I cannot in good conscience turn the control of this country over to this man, who is the polar opposite of what this country stands for. I call this country the finest in the world. He calls it a garbage can. I believe in the rule of law. He breaks the law whenever he sees benefit to him and him alone from so doing. I believe in our judicial system. He tears it down every chance he gets, again, when he sees benefit to him and him alone from so doing. I care about our founding documents. He said our Constitution should be terminated. I care about the consequences to the American people from such brazen lawlessness. He only cares how the consequences affect him and him alone, and the welfare of our nation be damned. I don't see the American people, even those who disagree with me, as my adversaries. He calls anyone who disagrees with him the enemy within, and has stated that if necessary, they should be handled by the American military. I respect the independence of our Department of Justice. He wants the Attorney General to be his attorney. I respect the independence of our free press. He calls them the enemy of our people. I respect our Constitution. He says it should be terminated. I respect our foundational transfer of power. He incited an attack on our Capitol in order to steal an election he lost. I respect our democracy. The people that know him best call him a fascist. If I follow the Constitution, he will destroy it. And as I said, in all good conscience, I cannot let that happen. I cannot turn this constitutional republic over to someone who said he wants to terminate the Constitution. Therefore, I have come to the conclusion that it is far better and ultimately more patriotic that I will be the one who violates our Constitution, not destroys it, but violates the Constitution of this nation in order to preserve it. Of the two aberrations, I believe that a violation is the lesser of two evils when the alternative is its total destruction. Therefore, I am hereby invoking my presidential immunity in order to preserve this nation's democracy. Donald Trump will not become this nation's next president. I hereby also revoke the terms of his bail, make that bails, and further order the military police to take Donald Trump into custody, whereby he can finally stand trial for the myriad crimes he has committed against this country with which he has already been charged. Thank you. End quote. And then just walk away. Don't take any questions. Whatever you do, don't head back to the dais after a reporter inevitably asks you a question. Just walk away. Retire to whichever room with the TV you prefer and watch Trump and MAGA heads literally explode. and watch and listen as A, the rest of the free world stands up and applauds, and B, as the world's dictators recoil in horror. And again, I dread the prospect of this patently unfit criminal traitor winning this election. I hope Kamala Harris wins easily and makes everything I just said redundant. I will happily swallow it all back, whole, without even chewing. I just like to consider and prepare for all possible outcomes. But again, why do we Democrats always have to be the good guys? It's our constitutional right to appoint a Supreme Court justice. The right says, no, it's too close to an election. We say, okay. But then when it's their turn to appoint one and it is much closer to an election, they say, oh, that rule only applied to you, not us. And we say, okay, we're Democrats. We play by the rules, even though the other side threw the rule book in the garbage years ago. And I am well aware that everything I just said could be deemed radical. But again, I would ask, how in good conscience could Joe Biden turn this democracy over to a felon and a traitor who he knows full well wants to destroy said democracy? And this is what bugs me to no end. We still have 3 months left whereby we Democrats control the presidency and the Senate. And yet it is we who are wetting our pants over what Trump and the GOP will do if he gets back into the White House. Do you think they're worried about what we'll do in the next 3 months or even the next 4 years if Kamala Harris wins? Hell no. Well, I say we give them something to worry about. We let them know that liberal does not equate with patsy. We let them know that liberals can show up to a gunfight with something other than a spoon. Like, I don't know, maybe an M1 Abrams tank and a stealth bomber armed with nukes. I say we slap these bastards so hard, even Google won't be able to find them. Send them reeling back on their heels, so to speak. Let them know that we have finally digested and then rejected the old phrase, nice guys finish last, except when it comes to sex. You guys think you're the only ones who don't have to play by the rules? Here, hold our beer. And when any Republican legislator asks any Democrat about Biden's pronouncement, they should all just shrug their shoulders and say, presidential immunity, bitches. You had multiple chances to stop him, including 2 impeachments. But you chose to leave your balls at home in your wife's panty drawer and then just walk away. So anyway, that's my piece, my theory, and my question. And to date, I have not seen or heard anyone even hint at anything even close to that. And I hope that's one of the primary reasons you watch and listen to this show, because you will hear things here that you will not hear anywhere else. And so, if Trump wins, what should Joe Biden do? I've just told you what I think he should do. And again, while it might sound radical, I swear I am not being hyperbolic. I emphatically believe and meant every single word, every syllable I just spoke. Any comments you have on that are welcome. You can call the show in our second half hour, which we're into now, or you can email me at doug@dougbasham.com. The phone number here at the station is area code 702-221-7283. That's area code 702-221-SAVE, as in, yes, save our democracy. Joe, exercise your presidential immunity. And by the way, I think Biden should start teasing that now, today, and especially after the election if Trump is successful in stealing it. And yes, any victory that is built upon a campaign of heinous lies, not to mention bigotry, hatred, and racism, is a theft. Biden could say to reporters, What was it the Supreme Court said back in July I had? Wasn't it something about presidential immunity? My memory's not as good as it once was. I am Sleepy Joe after all. But yes, I am recalling, it's coming back to me now, that it was indeed about presidential immunity. So I'll tell you, I'm real excited to start using that new power for once. And that's it. And when reporters invariably ask, "What are you talking about, Mr. President?" he could wink at them, put on his beloved aviators, and say, "Stand back and stand by." I want to go back to Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden over the weekend. And of course, the big takeaway was something a comedian named Tony Hinchcliffe said. If you haven't heard the jokes that have come under fire yet, voila.
I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay, all right, okay, we're getting there.
And that, of course, was quickly followed by the lie from Team Trump that joke didn't reflect their values. Really? Donald Trump says worse things about migrants on a daily basis. He said worse things at that same rally. Garbage is one of the nicer things he calls them. And you had to love Governor Tim Walz's reaction to what he just heard.
You know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay, all right, okay, we're getting there.
Who is that jackwad?
Who's that jackwad? That is so Minnesota, isn't it? I think that'll become one of my new nicknames for Donald Trump, the Orange Jackwad. I like it. But as for this Tony Hinchcliffe, here's the kind of person he is. In a past tweet, he said, quote, "I bet the best part of having a retarded child is not having to buy it Christmas gifts. Hashtag, do they know it's Christmas? Nope." End quote. He seems nice. And here he is at what I assume is a comedy club.
Give it up for the one and only Tony Hinchcliffe.
Hello, good evening, welcome, hello. How about one more time for the filthy little fucking chink that was just up here? While all you fucking race traitors are whooping and hollering, I'm back there watching you puking in a fucking bucket. Oh, we make it a gunpowder. Oh, you want extra soy sauce. Oh, you borrow money from us. And you guys just eating it up, you fucking pussy.
Jesus. He seems nice. And it wasn't just this Tony Hinchcliffe. Other speakers were just as vitriolic and depraved. It was almost like the Trump campaign, put out an ad for people to speak that said, "Only pricks need apply."
She is some sick that Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a. The whole party, a bunch of degenerates, lowlives, pure haters and lowlives. Every one of them.
She is the devil, whoever screamed that out. She is the Antichrist.
She's a fake, a fraud. She's a pretender. Her and her pimp handlers will destroy our country.
Her pimp handlers? Boy, they all seem nice, don't they? And then there was that Mother Tucker Carlson with a deranged and unhinged word salad that would even make his orange puppet master turn green with envy. Oh yeah, along with some racist insults, of course. And what's interesting about this clip is it was all predicated on the premise that Donald Trump loses the election.
That moment, it's going to be pretty tough for them 10 days from now to look in the eye to America with a straight face. It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what, Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support. And anyone who thinks otherwise is just a freak or a criminal. At this stage of the game, after 9 years of listening to their lies and finding every single one of them totally false, no, it's not safe and effective, and no, she's not impressive. It's very hard for me to believe the rest of us are going to say, you know what, Joe Scarborough, you're right. You're right. She won fair and square because she's just so impressive. I don't think so. And to me, that is liberation. It's the freedom to say what's obviously true as a free man and not a slave. And I just want to say thank you, Donald Trump, for that.
What in the fresh holy hell was this guy on? I guess that ad that said only pricks need apply also said BYOC, bring your own cocaine. And this talentless slag was the #1 rated host on Fox Noise? And the laughable irony of a guy who was Fox Noise's biggest liar accusing anyone else of lying? I mean, I don't know. And what was that bit about? He said, and to me, this is liberation. It's the freedom to say what's obviously true as a free man and not as a slave? WTF? And then he thanks Donald Trump for that? I suspect when he speaks of the freedom to say what's obviously true, he means the freedom to demagogue anyone who isn't a white nationalist. But frankly, I am not entirely certain what the exact message behind that unhinged screen was, unless it was maybe don't do drugs. 221-7283 is our call-in number here at the station, folks. If you want to chat, that's 702-221-SAVE. To the phones we had, and we'll begin with our resident psychologist, Carl. You're first. Thanks for calling.
Cool. Hey, Doug. I hope you're doing
Carl.
well. Listen, two real quick things, just real quick. At the Madison Square Garden, you finally saw his wife, Melania. She never goes anywhere with him. And do you notice how when she greets him, they like peck at each other's cheek a little bit? She won't hold his hand. I think she hates him more than you or I do.
Quite possibly. But you know, a transactional, contractual marriage is what it is.
Yeah. I wonder how much she got to show up there. Maybe you paid her something or promised her.
I think it was probably so that the prenup remained in place.
Yeah, because I've heard her criticize him terribly. She hates him terribly, and that I can tell by the way she greets him, and she won't even want to stand near him really.
Yep.
Anyway, and the one other thing that I want to say is, did you hear? I think it was the same night when he said, "I want everybody to vote on the last day of voting, January 5th. I want everybody to go out and vote January 5th." Did you hear that?
I did.
Yeah, that shows the man's brains are working properly. Unfortunately, his brain is the size of a walnut, but that's...
Okay, Carl, now the big question. What did you think of my rant on what Joe Biden should do if Trump were to win?
what Biden should do?
Yeah, the rant I did in the first part of the show on what Joe Biden should do and say if Trump were to steal this election.
Well, he's got to go by the law, I would imagine. He'll just have to.
So, in other words, you didn't catch what I said. Thanks for the
I
call,
didn't
Carl.
think
I
so.
appreciate it. 221-7283 is our call-in number here at the station, folks. If you'd like to chat, that's 702-221-SAVE. Back to the phones, and we'll talk to Big Bad John. You're next. Thanks for calling.
Captain Cojones.
Hey, Big Bad John. How you doing?
I endorse your rant 100%. I would fire Merrick Garland today and install an acting head. That way you eliminate that clown. Because let's face it, something's going to happen. You know, Trump's not going to go away quietly. There's already been like over 100 lawsuits filed. So Joe is going to have to do something. And I'll tell you this, I feel much more confident with Kamala in charge than Joe. She's got an edge that I love, and she'll put them down. So, but anyway, the reason I called today, Doug, is, you know, I mean, Tony Hinchcliffe and all the other frauds that spoke at Madison Square Garden made it crystal clear that if you're Hispanic and you vote for this guy, you really have no self-respect. That they're just laughing at you. They don't like you. They despise you. And you've been sold a bill of goods and you just weren't smart enough to see it. And if you're a black person, you know that it's been said by many people that Trump has used the N-word multiple times when he was filming The Apprentice. And it's been said that, it's not been said, it's proof that he tried to use his influence to get the Central Park Five killed. Innocent black men. He put a full-page ad in the New York papers. He essentially wanted these 5 innocent men to be killed, to be put down because of the color of their skin. So it's clear if you're Hispanic, he thinks of you as an effing Mexican. If you're Puerto Rican, he thinks of you as garbage. If you're Brazilian or Venezuelan or Nicaraguan, do you really think he likes you? Because clearly he doesn't. And the question I raised today is, if you're an evangelical, okay, and you support this orange sack of pus because you believe in the rapture, and you believe that Donald Trump will let Benjamin Netanyahu do whatever he wants, and then somehow that will facilitate the rapture, and God will come down and you'll somehow rise to heaven. I got to tell you, you're going to burn in hell, because what these folks demonstrated in Madison Square Garden was clearly anti-Christian behavior. Nowhere in the Bible does it say to put your brother down, to demean, to name call, to do this junior high horse crap that these adolescents do on a daily basis. There's nothing in the Bible that supports what Donald Trump does. Oh, by the way, he's been adjudicated as a rapist. He's a 34 times convicted felon. And you sit there under this false pretense that you're religious and you believe in the Bible. And really what it boils down to is you believe this fairy tale that there's going to be a rapture sometime in the near future. You're going to burn in hell, because Donald Trump is not a Christian. He's not a holy man, and he's broken every commandment under the sun. He's just a horrible, horrible human being. He's America's version of Nazi. Do you think Adolf Hitler made it to heaven? And Donald Trump that's his idol. That's whose work he studied and whose books he's read. So if you're an evangelical, please get your head out of your ass and just think about basic Christian principles of follow the golden rule. Do unto your fellow man as you would have them do unto you. And supporting Donald Trump is clearly 100% unchristian. That's all I got today, Doug. Hello?
You to experience the future of luxury glamping at their newest resort, opening August 1st, 2024 near Bryce Canyon. Guests at the first and only glass-domed stargazing resort in the U.S. will be immersed in the stunning scenery of the resort's private 80-acre canyon, both indoors and out, and nights in your sky dome will be like sleeping in an aquarium of stars. Located in Cannonville, Utah, on scenic Byway 12, voted one of the most scenic roads in America, the resort will feature lots of fun on-resort activities, as well as one of the world's largest glass-domed restaurants. To book your reservation, please call 1-888-704-4445 or visit clearskyresorts.com.
Nice crime and law enforcement. We put in the work to get to the bottom of some of history's most intriguing tales, exploring the age-old dichotomy of the good guys versus the bad guys. Located in the heart of downtown Las Vegas, the Mob Museum is an immersive experience, exploring the ongoing power struggles between organized crime and law enforcement from the mob's origination to today. Located at 300 Stewart and 4th Street, themobmuseum.org. Let's have a sit-down.
Wahoo's has something for everyone. Wahoo's is known for serving real tacos for the last 37 years, but also has burritos, bowls, and salads. Not only is the fish off the hook, but other Wahoo's options include carne asada, chicken, shrimp, salmon, and tofu. Wahoo's cooks everything from scratch using fresh, premium ingredients. Did we mention football? Drop into the Wahoo's bar to watch football. Enjoy $4 select beers and a pound of jumbo wings for under $10. Play Wahoo's newly updated Keno and Poker game with a chance to win your share of $125,000 in free play this season at one of 6 convenient Valley locations. Wahoo's, freshly made, Pacific inspired. Visit wahooslv.com for location information.
Complete Family Care in Henderson is open. No waiting, just walk in, see the doctor right away, have your blood and x-rays done on site, and so call them today at 702-747-7770. Fall allergy season is here. Get a 3-month allergy shot for $120. 3 months of allergy relief for just $120. Complete Family Care accepts all major insurances and Medicare, so visit us today at cfchenderson.com. That's cfchenderson.com, or call them at 702-747-7770. That's 747-7770.
Your favorite Las Vegas sandwich shop, Togo's, is ready to serve up all your favorite quality sandwiches with fresh ingredients, generous portions, and quality you can taste. Order any one of our signature sandwiches online at togoslasvegas.com through Togo's mobile app, or stop by 6435 South Rainbow Boulevard, Suite 103 today and enjoy your favorite sandwich you've missed. Don't forget to sign up for Togo's Rewards to get $2 off your first purchase, a free birthday sandwich, and a lot more. Place your order today at togoslasvegas.com or stop by 6435 South Rainbow Boulevard and Sunset Suite 103.
Get ready, football fans. The Los Angeles Rams are back, and they're hungrier than ever in the City of Angels, where stars shine bright. A new chapter unfolds on the gridiron. Buckle up, because the Rams are about to electrify the NFL. All Los Angeles Rams games can be heard right here on KSHP, AM 1400 and 107.1 FM. Los Angeles Rams football, sponsored by Steiner's Pub, a true Nevada-style pub.
The open border is one of the largest forces driving up costs of basic necessities. Each illegal immigrant costs taxpayers nearly $9,000 per year, according to the Federation for American Immigration Reform. Total costs since 2021, $72.8 billion. Fentanyl continues to pour in, bringing more countless senseless deaths every year. We cannot afford to let this dangerous agenda